So if you are a Redcat fan, this truck right here probably looks really familiar. And if you said it's the TR-MT10E, you would be wrong. And here is why. Redcat is changing things up. They are going and putting all of their vehicles under the Redcat label, and this is the most recent truck to go under the Redcat label. We used to know it as a Team Redcat racing vehicle, which was our higher end line, but now they're just putting it all together, and now this truck has been rebranded as the RC-MT10E. And it's got a few changes to it, so that's what we're going to go over today. I've already reviewed the TR-MT10E a while back. The truck is back there, and I'm going to go put a link to that video up above because that one is really detailed as far as all the information goes. Today we're just going to go over a few of the features that I think are really cool, and then the things that they changed on this truck. So to start things off, let's go over some of the exterior changes here. And it does have a new logo on the body. It has RC-MT10E on the graphics, where before there was a TR in the front of it. So that is a small exterior change. The other one is it has a green body shell, where the other version, they had an orange or a gunmetal. See the gunmetal back there? Oh, it's over there, yeah. So the green, very cool, very bright, should stand out when you're out there bashing. And finally, on the outside, they have a new Redcat logo on the spoke of the rim, where before they had the TR-MT10E logo. So pretty much the same cool looking compact basher 4x4 monster truck as we know. The other cool feature on the outside that I do want to point out is the LED lights in the front. They have them in these buckets here, really bright white. And then on the lower part of the bumper here, they have red lights in it, which looks awesome when it's lit up. The other cool factor is the wheelie bar out back. Massive wheel on the wheelie bar with ball bearings, and that wheelie bar is adjustable. All right, let's pop this body off. And underneath the hood, pretty much the same stuff that we saw before. It's got a composite chassis to it. It's a four-wheel drive truck. We've got gear differentials front and rear, steel dog bones that go out to the wheels, and then double wishbone suspension with pivot ball steering knuckles at the end, and that's pretty much replicated front to rear. So if you're getting extra parts for the front of your vehicle, it's going to fit the rear as well. I also really like the large bore shocks on this, the aluminum shock towers. Steering works really well. They got adjustable turnbuckles, so you can set toe if you want to. But the chassis itself is pretty rigid, and getting to the batteries is pretty easy over here with the Velcro straps. Speaking of the Velcro straps, they do have the new Redcat logo on them, and that looks pretty cool, pretty bright. And now we're getting into some of the changes of this truck. The major change here is the steering servo. So before it had a Savox servo, and now it comes with the 25 kg servo that is available from Redcat. Pretty high torque servo, and a lot of people like this servo. I've actually picked it up as an aftermarket option and used it in some of my other vehicles before. Pretty good servo for a number of different uses. So cool to see it in here. The other changes, the motor, pretty much the same motor, 4400 kV brushless motor, and the change here is it now has like this jeweled heatsink look to the can, and it does have the new Redcat Racing logo etched onto the end bell of it. So it's more cosmetic there. Still has the Hobby Wing base speed controller, 2 to 3S power. It does have a cooling fan on top. The receiver's located over here in the radio box, and that's really about it. We got a pretty high ground clearance chassis to it. One thing I wish they did change to this that they didn't change is it still has this kind of like step to the front bumper, which really I thought grabbed onto things when you're nosing down and going over stuff. So while they were making tweaks to this thing, I kind of wish they changed that, but they didn't. So we'll just go with it. They do have a bunch of different aftermarket parts that you can get for it to really hop up this vehicle, customize it, and one of them is a bumper plate that helps protect it, which I recommended in the last video. But this truck is a fun truck. It's a 2S power, 3S power. I think we're going to go run it on both when we test it, and it's great for backyard bashing, going over jumps and stuff like that. The final change that I did want to tell you guys about is the RCR2CE radio system. This is now installed in this vehicle. There was a different radio system in here before, and from Redcat, they have this in a number of their vehicles. Works pretty well, and if you're just going out for fun, it works pretty awesome actually. So I'm really excited to get back behind the wheel of this. I haven't driven my other MT10E in a while, so I'm looking forward to just going out and ripping up some dirt. So let's go hit up a dirt field and thrash this thing around. All right, so we're at the dirt bashing lot with the RC-MT10E, and this is not my first choice for a spot to drive this truck. I really wanted to drive this truck at the BMX track, but after taking 4 different trips there and just the track being covered with riders, wasn't able to drive this truck there. So I am out here in the really rough stuff. And this truck, if you watched my previous review of the truck of the TR-MT10E, which is basically the same truck, I really felt that this is a great flat dirt track type of truck. And the rough stuff kind of upsets it a bit. All the close-up stuff you guys saw was on 2S. So we're on 3S now, so we got as much power in this as we can. I also went and put some preload spacers in the shocks just to give it a little bit more clearance, because this place is really rough for this particular truck. Oh, that was a hard hit on that new body, new green body. Getting some more scratches in it. All right, let's see if I get a little air. Cleaned up some rocks, but there's still a lot of rocks out here. Oh, just kicked up the rear. Rear is really catching. It's got those right angles on the skids that really, I think, catch on some stuff. Kind of hurt this truck a little bit. There we go, a little more power through it. But so far, the new steering servo seems to be working pretty well. Caught another rock there. Was able to look at that wheelie. That was cool. Medium throttle, just kind of ripping through this stuff. There we go. Got the front up. When this thing does jump, it actually jumps pretty well for a pretty square platform. You know, it doesn't have a lot of length to it. It's a fairly square setup, which is cool for tricks. But there you go, nice flat air. That was very cool. All right, more punch. Yeah, there we go. Oh, kind of bucked up. Another jump there. One more jump. We'll move on to some other spots here. All right, cool. Let's move over to this jump right here. This is a great spot. Yeah, there we go. Spin this back around. Come right at us. Whoa! Look at this cartwheel. Oh, I got to go flip it over again. There we go. Still ready for more action. All right, let's come up to this jump with a nice smooth roll, and I'll punch it towards the end, see how it launches. This thing's kind of a little all over the place. You know, like I said, it's really rough, but the suspension on this in the rear is that steering knuckle setup, and it's kind of got a lot of bump to it, kind of like bump steer in the front, but in the rear. So I think what happens is the truck just kind of sways around because of that. Oh, another cartwheel. All right, we landed on all 4 that time. I love the front bumper on this. Those LED lights are sick. Just a really cool setup. Gives this truck a mean look. All right, roll back onto it. Yeah, there we go. Nice. All right, let's go over to the berm. All right, so I'm driving on the berm time. Oh, this thing I think really likes this berm here. That was a lot of fun, first rip through that. Whoa. There we go, that was nice. Oh, up on all 4s. That rear end is just a bit loose. Like I said, I think a flatter surface, flatter dirt surface is really up this truck's alley. So if that's the type of surface you have to drive on, I think that's where you're gonna have the most fun with this truck. I'm still having fun with it here. It's putting out some pretty good action. Whoa! It's got some power to it. So it does have that. The steering is working fine. A new servo. I've come to really like this Redcat radio system that they have in here now. Driven a number of their vehicles with it. And for a ready-to-run radio, it's pretty comfortable. Yeah, there we go. We got the tires to grow on that one. Whoa, that was cool. All right, The fun factor is really ramping up on this thing. The more I get used to it, the more I'm really liking it. I really enjoyed the last one, and now I'm really starting to like this one as well. I know there's a huge fan base for this. Now I know why it is fun. Oh, another roller. All right, get some more jumps in over here. Little nose up action. Spin this thing back around. Yeah, still on all fours. That's what it's all about. Keep on going. Oh, we're in the woods. We're in the woods, help. I know it's the weeds, but in scale terms, that's like woods. All right, set it back up again. Whoa, went a little too far up that berm back there. Here we go. Uh-oh. I think I got something caught in here or something. Yeah, something's caught. Something's up. Uh-oh. We've got issues. We've got issues. What do we have here? What's going on? Servo, something's locked up in the front. Oh, we had a rock. All four wheels move? No. Uh-oh, guys. We have an issue here. We lost something in the front. I'm guessing maybe a set screw to the front? Yeah, I could see it in there. The set screw fell out of the drive cup in the front. So no, it's worse than that. It looks like it sheared off. No, that means I am really done for today. All right, guys, back to the workshop so we can wrap up the review of the RC-MT10E. Oh, really bummed out I came home with a broken truck, but I did have a good time with the Redcat RC-MT10E. You know, it was a fun truck before when it was the TR-MT10E, and you know, it's still the same great truck. It's just got some new electronics in it, and they work really well, and it is a fun truck. Now, I did mention in the driving portion of the video that I didn't want to drive it in that rough off-road terrain because I wanted to drive it at the BMX track. But I made 4 attempts, I think it was about 4 attempts to go to the BMX track, and there was riders there every time, so that was like a total of 4 wasted hours. I had to get this truck on the dirt and try it out, and so that's why I chose to go and drive it there, which is pretty rough. It's a rough spot, and for this particular truck, it's a bit rough. So, you know, a little bit is, you know, where you drive this thing. If you have a similar type of field that you're going to be bashing in, probably not the right truck for that spot. But if you've got like a BMX track, a construction site that has been smoothed out or something like that, has some, you know, really smooth hills from, you know, dump trucks dumping dirt, that's probably going to be a lot of fun for this truck. Driving it in low grass, probably more fun. On the street, fun there. You know, packed gravel, you know, stuff like that. That's where this truck is really going to shine. You know, steering wise, it's got the new steering servo in there. I didn't see any problems. Seemed to have plenty of torque still. Gets the truck turned around in a respectable space, you know, in the bashing field. So steering's good. The radio system, it's Redcat's standard RCR2CE radio system, works just fine. It's got the trim functions that you need to get it dialed in. I did actually have to adjust the steering trim just a little bit for it to go straight. And power, this thing's got plenty of power. So I ran it on 2S and on 3S. Actually, in that bashing field, I liked running it on 2S. It seemed to be just fine with that amount of power. You know, with more power behind it, it gets a little bit edgy, and that's when it really starts to kind of veer off. I do have a little bit of an issue still with the rear, you know, steering knuckles as rear hubs on this, because there is a lot of toe swing on this, basically. So, you know, at full ride height, or actually at full extension, you know, we've got toe out, and then when you push all the way down, there's toe in. So when you're going through bumps and stuff like that, those rear wheels are doing this, and that could cause the truck, I think, you know, to get out of shape. But on smoother ground, you don't really notice it. So again, this truck is really dependent on where you drive it. Durability wise, yeah, we walked away with it broken. I broke the output shaft on the bevel gear coming out of the gear case there. It just sheared the end of it off. So, you know, it was taking some pretty hard hits out there. It's something I'm going to say you might want to think about replacing. They do have a machined hardened gear set for it. In the last truck I had, the TR-MT10E, I did go and replace that and the ring and pinion in the rear of the truck because the teeth broke on that. So that's probably one hop-up part you're going to want to get for this truck. The other hop-up part I'm going to recommend to you, and I recommended it in the last one, was the skids. They have skids that go under the front and rear that are metal. That's another nice option to get for this truck. But other than that, I don't know what else I would recommend. The truck is fun. It is a fun truck. I know a lot of people like it. I like it too. And that really wraps up this review. It's nice to see this truck back in the Redcat lineup, and I actually have a friend that wants to drive this truck, so I'm going to pass it on to him to fix and continue to drive it. I think he's going to have a lot of fun with it. If you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like. We'll see you back soon for some more RC driver videos.